Well, let's go to Parliament, where leadership and the COVID-19 team there appear frustrated and maybe helpless in getting MPs and staff who have tested positive for COVID-19 to stay away from the House. Presenting the business statement, Majority Leader Osei Mensah-Bonsu cautioned persons who have tested positive after the mandatory testing and have been contacted to stop visiting the House. The Swami MP observed that the affected persons, including some journalists, have defied the communication from the COVID-19 team that they should stay away because they're positive.
Because if you remember, this is the same majority leader who bastardized, who vehemently disagreed with Honorable Muntaka, the minority chief whip. When the minority chief whip was saying that we should not cover up, just like all Ghanaians, if there are positive cases in Parliament, the entire country must know. He was not even saying that the individuals should be named. Now, he even went ahead, the majority leader went ahead to say that even if there are members of Parliament who have tested positive, they were going to be called individually. And therefore, he will not get the opportunity to know who and who have tested positive. Now, this same person comes back to tell us on the floor of the House that there are members of Parliament who have tested positive and they are still with us on the floor of the House. He goes ahead to say that there are some staff that he saw yesterday interacting with members of Parliament who have tested positive. How did he get to know now? All of a sudden now he knows. How did he get to know? And who is he reporting to? He's the leader of the House. What has he done about that? Why can't he engage those same people? Quite apart from that, and I keep telling you people that this government keeps playing politics with our health. You know why? As at the time the minority chief whip stated that we should not cover up, the CI 126 had not matured. So the majority leader was of the opinion that if it becomes worse, Parliament will shut down and then the CI 126 will not get matured. Now he has waited until the CI 126 has matured. He's coming back to tell us that now he's privy to those who have contracted the virus. I am ashamed. And for me, the Speaker must be firm. As a matter of urgency, Parliament must be closed with immediate effect. Because if people have tested positive and they have communicated it to them and they still come to Parliament, we are at a very high risk, including you, the media. He was complaining to who? He's a leader of government's business. He's a minister of state. He has the president here. Who is he reporting to? Who is he complaining to? What has he done about the problem? I believe that we are not safe and that Parliament must be closed down. And thank you.
Your own colleagues who have tested positive and have defied the stay-home orders and are coming to Parliament, and they putting yourself and everybody else at risk. And they also rational human beings to know that once you be asked to stay home, stay home.
You see, if you begin to think that way, then there shouldn't be laws or rules or regulations in any country, because human beings are supposed to reason, but it is because there's that temptation to break or to not to reason rationally. That is why there's the need for laws and rules and regulations. And so if the person, of course, he is saying it, I don't know. But if you think that people must test, and that after testing they have tested positive and they must isolate and they are not isolating, there must be some kind of punitive measures. You must engage them, and then have a way of, you don't just leave them and say if you are not isolating, then you are free to mingle with your colleagues. You know, it is even in their own interest, those members of Parliament, it is even in their own interest to isolate and get proper treatment. Because as you all know, we have been told by the experts that it is only your immune system which can fight the virus. Isn't that true? So the more you rest, eat well, that is when you boost your immune system and you'll be able to fight the virus. But if you have tested positive and you keep working like we are all doing, running up and down, going for committee meetings, and how will you boost your immune system? You understand? So for me, it is not only about those who have tested positive and yet coming to Parliament, but it's about leadership. What are we doing?
Per the treatment protocols, once you test positive, the team traces you, comes for you. That's what's happening out there. Why is Parliament different?
Well, we have been told it depends on your situation. If you are not showing signs and they think it's not too grievous, they will call you and then make sure you have isolations. You can isolate yourself in your house and then probably follow up. There are those protocols in place. But if your condition is such that they must come for you, then they will rush and come for you and then isolate you and then treat you. So as for those ones, I mean, there are those. Even I hear that people who can afford to isolate themselves in their houses, they follow up to them and give them treatment. But the point is that if we had isolated all those who have tested positive here, we would have, or even that, after even isolating them, it doesn't mean that nobody will test. I have tested on 2 occasions. I have done 2. The Parliament one was the second one. It doesn't mean that when you test today and you are negative, tomorrow you cannot get the virus.
Kobna Minta Kando, I beg your pardon, we should have indicated earlier, is the minority spokesperson on health. You hear from Member of Parliament for Kumu, Ras Mubarak, also react to this particular story. He's one of the people who started making a lot of noise about coronavirus in the House. You'll hear from him. But some of you are sending some messages on the back of what the majority leader is saying and what's happening in Parliament. This message says, it's Charles from Cape Coast. He says, so majority leader lied to Ghanaians about the status of COVID cases in Parliament. I think majority must apologize to Ghanaians. Why did he do that? What a shame. I'm sure you're referring to the press conference held some time back when there were reports that, I beg your pardon, that some people have tested positive in the House. All right, let's take this last one and then we can go. All right, let's just go to Parliament and hear from Ras Mubarak, Member of Parliament for Kumu.
Really, that is shocking and very worrying. Shocking that a member of staff would be asked to stay away from the precincts of Parliament, and that staff or member or whoever that person is would actually come to this place and actually have interactions with colleagues and members of Parliament. That is witchcraft, to say the least. You know, and as you may have heard me say on the floor, it is unforgivable, and we take great exception to this very irresponsible act, you know, and I think leadership would have to take necessary measures to make sure that there is compliance and to make sure that those persons involved are actually quarantined. You know, I think that is the way to go.
Some of your colleagues are calling on the leadership to shut down Parliament. Right now, the leader has confirmed it.
I initially was for the shutting down of Parliament, right? But if you look at attendance in the House lately, you realize that there are many colleagues, because of the primaries in their respective constituencies, especially from the other side, you know, so the chamber is largely empty, you know, and the social distancing protocols can be observed within the chamber. But I think, you know, what has happened is most unfortunate, and we just should not take kindly to any one member of staff or MP endangering the lives of members and staff who work here. I think it's irresponsible, to say the least.
Do you think the COVID-19 health team will come after those officials and pick them as they have been doing in the community?
I'm sure from now on, I'm sure leadership would impress upon them, be they staff or members of Parliament, to endeavor not to endanger the lives of the 275 members of Parliament in this House. I mean, if you have COVID-19 or if you've tested positive, it is just fair that you would stay away from the precincts of Parliament so that you don't expose your colleagues and staff and other people who work here. You know, but to defy advice and to actually physically be present Parliament.